All right. Go ahead, John.
All right. Hey, Nakasuchi. Greetings, fellow Earthlings. This is my normal Wednesday night on Nakasuchi's channel on A Raging Atheist. And as luck would have it, Nakasuchi's got the night off, so he's my guest tonight. We're also going to have a special guest towards the end of the show. Maynard Saves will be coming on to give his 2 cents. And I also see in the live chat is Puffalupagus, Kyle. And unfortunately, last Thursday, his father died suddenly. And Puff needs our help, needs the help of the community. We need to help him out. He needs help with the burial costs. And the GoFundMe's been up for a week. It's only $100 on there so far, but we're gonna put the link. I think Nakasuchi already put it in the video description. Yeah, according to this banner that's up right now.
Not yet. I will put it in after.
Okay.
I went over to Steve's stream and made an announcement. So.
And I put it in the live chat already. I'll put it in the live chat a couple more times. Also, this Saturday, we're going to have Puff on the GDC and try and get this GoFundMe going. It's just unfortunate, but that's the way that's the way that goes. As far as you never know when one of your loved ones is going to go, and it is a very expensive prospect to bury a loved one, and Puff is just not in a position, and he really needs our help. So please do everything you can. And also, as Nakasuchi just alluded to, Steve McRae is live right now at the same time. This happens. There's no way that you can schedule around every other YouTuber. It's just not a possibility. But Steve's got some big news over there. We're not going to go into detail here, but the title of Steve's stream says it all. I won. So Steve has won his lawsuit. And he is live right now doing a Q&A about that and telling what he can about it. He still can't reveal everything because there's still more process going forward. So
yeah, and real quick, I just so I have publicly been in the middle. I like Kyle, I like Steve, and I've said publicly that I have to wait for the litigation to end, and now it seems to be ending. Steve has won. I still like Kyle, but it seems like Kyle did some very shady shit, and I have to come out in support of Steve and give Steve congratulations. That it seems that he has been telling the truth, and Kyle has been lying to people. So I want to come out public and say now that the litigation seems to have ended, and I put it in Steve's live chat that I would have to address it. That congratulations, Steve McRae.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you just said, and it was in the live chat over there, so I don't think I'm speaking out of school or anything. People were talking about it in the live chat over there. Apparently, Kyle made no response to the lawsuit. Now, to me, that indicates that Kyle was lying the entire time about even having a lawyer, because no lawyer would let a lawsuit go unanswered. A lawyer definitely would have filed a response. But
I think it definitely looks bad. I still like Kyle. I think he's a good dude. I think he made some mistakes here, and I as a man of integrity, I told you guys that once litigation was over and there was a verdict, that I would pipe in, and there's a verdict now, Steve is announcing it on the channel right now, which is why we don't have as many viewers, which is understandable. You guys will watch the playback. But, I am a man of my word, and it does seem like, Steve won. Steve won. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I like both of them. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Steve has been good to me as well. And we have a good relationship. And he has been gracious even with my playing the middle ground. So I do want to put that out there that Steve has been very gracious with me staying in the middle of this. So now that he's won, I need to give him my support. And I'm doing so right now.
Yeah, and that's not on this particular subject, but on other subjects where I won't go into details, but there's certain things between me and Steve where say with other people that I might associate with that Steve does not associate with because of valid reasons on his part
and I probably associate with these same people,
right and valid reasons on their part, but that's their thing. And Steve has never once he's always been very gracious to me too about being in the middle ground, as you called it. So
and you were actually, John, more in a position for him to actually give backlash to you. Like what is he going to do to me? Like, I got my own channel, but you're a part of his channel, and he could have done something, and he didn't because he's a man of integrity.
Right, and he has never ever, even slightly intimated that because I have relationships with a few people that he does not particularly care for, he has never intimated that I shouldn't do that, and that it's any kind of problem with him. And so it always kind of irks me when people try and say that he is when people have said before that he is like a guilt by association type of person.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
He's definitely not. Like that whole drama with Godless Girl that I had, where she was trying to call me out for playing the middle ground, and I was like very clearly like, no, I like both of them. It's going to court. Let's wait till it goes to court. And she was like, oh, you're fucking sinking with the ship. And I'm like, Godless Girl, come on. And me and Godless Girl, we worked our shit out. So don't. I'm not talking shit about Godless Girl at all. I think she's fairly cool. But no, like Steve came out and supported me. He's like, no, you're an honorable man. I respect what you're saying right now. Steve didn't have to do that. Steve is a man of integrity. Now, like I've had disagreements with Steve in the past, like with some of the things he says. Of course, we're humans. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But like Steve, like seriously, like when I put out that re-release of my first conversation with Darth Dawkins, Steve didn't see it the first time, and then I re-released it. Even knowing I lost that conversation, that Darth made me look fairly badly, I re-released it to show like I learned from my mistakes, and I'm not afraid of my mistakes. And Steve reached out to me and taught me how to deal with Darth Dawkins. Steve didn't have to do that. He didn't have to fucking do that. He's much bigger than me at that time, but he did it because he's a good dude.
Hey, why don't you throw that, if you got the live chat up, Maynard just posted something pretty nice.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that I have copied other links sent. So if you could put that link in the live chat, I will put the link in the description after the stream.
Right.
My banner doesn't have the link. It just says, help Puff. Link in live chat and description after the show.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I totally went to the Steve McRae stream and like, dude, like you're announcing you're winning. I got to talk about it for a minute at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to back up just a little bit, to be fair to these couple of folks that I'm alluding to, they have not. They have been just as honorable. They've never also never intimated to me that I shouldn't associate with Steve or anything like that.
Well, and not only that, if you're talking about who I'm thinking about,
right?
It's legitimate, and I think that argument is legitimate because I honestly think Steve made a mistake with that one live stream. But we all make mistakes. I've made mistakes with Matt Powell time and time again. How can I fucking judge Steve for one mistake? I
Well,
can't.
I wasn't referring to what you're mentioning now, and I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole. But
Neither do I, because
yeah, yeah,
like I'm over it now. Like
right, yeah.
me and Steve
So am
talked
I.
about that shit, and I'm like, dude, it's like a minor blip on my radar. Like
So,
to me, Steve is an honorable dude. And just like any other human being, we make mistakes, and to hold mistakes against us, especially if we're willing to admit our mistakes, I don't think that we should. But like like when it comes to my friends, though, I'm supportive of my friends. Like I really, I was vocal about it at the time. I took some heat, but me and Steve worked that out.
so there's a couple other quick points that I have to make, and that Knock wants to make. There's something he wants to talk about real quick, and then we're going to do it. We're going to. Knock put out a really good video. I believe it was just yesterday, or it might have been the day before, about the Kent Hovind video about Rachel Oates, and I want to do more of a deep dive on that tonight. I went through it piece by piece and have a lot of timestamps. I don't know as I figured out how to screen share the video, and I don't know whether Knox said he didn't have any success trying to do that in an earlier stream he had. So
yeah, StreamYard seems to be a bitch with screen sharing.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we'll figure out as we go along. But all the notes I took, I have timestamps. We'll put a link to Kent's video in the description if you want to check his video out and check out the timestamps I provide. I took notes and have the timestamps and what he said and my response, and then Knox going to have commentary on it as well. But real quick, like I try and do a couple times during the stream, since I'm so bad at interacting with the live chat, just want to say hello to Rational Canadian Atheist, Ryla, if I'm saying that right. Puffs in the chat there, Maynard Saves. Howdy to the Nomachan.
Yeah, Eliakai, Misha Griffith,
Allie.
Mistress Angelica. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we have as many as we got, considering.
Howdy, Allie. Long time no speak. How you doing, Allie? Great job on that stream the other night with Doc. Tony Designs in the house. And everybody else. Anybody there's Marty. Marty.
Oh, God, I got to get Marty on a stream soon.
Is that Marty? That's not the same Marty. That's not Marty Camijo, right? Marty O'Malia, it says.
I think that it is.
She just changed her name a little bit. All right. Hey, Dragnot Silvis in the house as well. All right.
Dragnot.
The Dragster. All right. So real quick, I just want to touch base. Knock had a stream earlier today with the Maddie, and I forget the name of her channel. What is it, Knock?
Science Side Up.
Science Side Up?
Yep.
And if you go to that earlier stream today, you can see you can get a link to her channel. I highly recommend her channel after seeing her in that live stream today. But something was going on in the live chat I just want to touch base on real quick before we go into Kent Hovind. There was something else I wanted to mention, but I'm just going to save that for another day. All right. Aaron Benton was in the live chat earlier today. I like Aaron. I still like Aaron, but he was spewing an awful lot of nonsense. I ended up timing him out at the end of the stream because I warned him. He was having a discussion back and forth with people, and that was all well and good. But then he started spam posting basically the same comment over and over again about how, well, hey, you're just going to fade away into nothing if you don't accept Jesus Christ, and just a word to the wise, Christians, you are definitely welcome here, or any people with any kind of God belief, and you are welcome to make your arguments in the chat and talk about your faith and all that. But if you are going to spam the same thing over and over again, and I'm there, I'm going to give you a timeout, okay? Because if you're just going to spam the same comment over and over again about how, now Aaron didn't say this, but it was tantamount to, well, hey, you're going to burn in hell. Over and over again. Unless you accept Jesus. So, but that's neither here nor there. What I wanted to point out is an argument that Aaron Benton was making, and please hit me up on this in the future, Aaron. I know you'll probably see this at some point. You kept saying that life cannot come from non-life. And yet your Bible says that God created Adam from the dust or the dirt of the earth, depending on your translation. Now, you said, well, but God did that. He was the life that I tried to explain to him in live chat. No, Aaron, you said life can't come from non-life. And as far as I remember, dirt is non-life. Okay, so what you did there in the live chat earlier today is called special pleading. You were adamant that life cannot come from non-life, but yet you're willing to accept that God created life from non-life. And that's special pleading.
And when I'm doing these one-on-ones, it's really hard for me to look at live chat. So I try to look at it, and I try to, put some of the comments up on the stream. But it's really hard for me to really follow live chat when I'm doing a one-on-one, and even sometimes when I'm doing a big room. So it's like, Aaron, I like you. I think that you are not like the NIFB, but I think that in a lot of ways you are. So like, I try to understand, but at the same time, like, if you've been warned, and I did notice that John told you, hey, Aaron, you've been warned, you're going to get timed out. And then when you get timed out and you come in and bitch about being timed out, dude, you was warned, right? Like, you're welcome on the channel anytime you want to come on. You're welcome to come and defend your faith. But I have moderators for a reason now. And it's to stop shit like that. It's to stop the spamming, to stop the proselytizing. Not all the time, because I don't really think that proselytizing should be a too bad offense, because that's what Christians do, let's be honest. But when you've been warned about it and then you continue to do so, well, I'm going to back up my mods. I'm going to back up my administrators. I'm going to back up my co-hosts. And as much as I like ramming your arguments down your throat, you've got to show respect. And if you can't have that respect, you're going to be timed out.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, too, is that, and you may not think you were disrespectful, but for the most part, Aaron, you are one of the least disrespectful people I know in my life. For the most
part, he's fairly a respectable dude.
Right. But consider this, Aaron. If you keep spamming the same comment over and over again, that's a form of disrespect, because people read it the first time, they read it the second time you put it in there. You continue to post it. You're basically telling people, hey, you're stupid. You're not getting what I'm saying.
And to be honest, quite honestly, like, if you're going to go on Richard Masson's channel and spew a lot of bullshit, you're going to get called out for it. You're more than welcome to come on this channel and spew that bullshit, but guess what? You're going to get called out for it. So, like you shouldn't really be surprised that people were going at you the way they did. I haven't watched all of that live stream yet. I have very little time to do these things, but I've heard, and from what I understand, there was pretty good reason for people to be going at you, and you bring it on yourself, dog. Seriously.
Yeah. And, real quick, it's back there in the live chat. Nock's going to put it in the description once we get done here. Please help out Puffalupagus. And his name is Kyle, by the way. I'm not telling anything he hasn't said in the live stream. I'm just letting you know his name is Kyle, because when you go to the GoFundMe page, it gives his full name, and it says he's the one that's running it. So just so you know, Puffalupagus is Kyle.
Help him out, because not only is losing a parent just tragic and heartbreaking, but it does have a cost, and a lot of us can't afford that cost. It's a very real situation in this country. It's maybe one of the things that we'll end up talking about later once we get into Trump and impeachment and all of that shit. But help him out if you can. Like, seriously, like, not only is it heartbreaking, but it can destroy you financially. So if you have the means, help Puff.
Yeah, please. And Knock had something you want to touch base on real quick that happened earlier today with him. But I just want to say that because I always forget to do this. Because when it comes right down to it, I really don't care about like being any kind of big YouTuber or anything. But I do have my own channel, The Amateur Conversationalist. I've had 5 episodes so far, and episode 6 is going to be Nick Suter, and we're going to talk about something that I bet you not many people know about him. Very interesting topic. I'm not going to give it away right now, and I'm hoping for it to be this Sunday. It depends on Nick's schedule, but there will not be a next The Amateur Conversationalist episode until Nick Suter is on. He's going to be episode number 6, and hopefully it'll be this Sunday. If not, then the following Sunday. And Knock, I think that you wanted to touch base on why bad ideas need to be refuted.
Yeah, and real quick, John's description is in the link below, so go sub to John. He needs more subs. But yeah, and it's not just based on this one instance that happened earlier, because this person was pretty respectful about it, and then once I explained my position, didn't combat me about it, but plenty of people have. So there's this argument that I shouldn't do Matt Powell videos, I shouldn't respond to Kent Hovind, because it's what they want, and it's giving legitimacy to them. So let me give you guys the honest fucking truth. They already have fucking legitimacy within the Christian community. They already do. They're speaking at churches. One of the reasons why Matt Powell went on Kent Hovind's channel talking shit about me directly is to get more connections for him to speak at churches. Because Kent Hovind already is speaking at churches, going around the country, speaking his bullshit to fellow believers. Ignoring them does not work. It doesn't. The NIFB are worldwide now. The only way we can harm them is by calling them out. The only way we can express our freedom as atheists, because guess what? Back in the day, we couldn't. There was blasphemy laws. There was hearsay laws. There was way back in the day, if you was an atheist speaking out, they'd probably burn you as a witch. Seriously. So we have to. And if we don't, I call you fucking cowards. So don't come at me telling me that I need to not call out this hatred. I am not a fucking coward. I will stand in the face of that hatred, spitting my opposition every time. And if you're too cowardly to do so because you might fear their legitimacy, they already have it. Discussion over.
Yeah, you can't, and again, you said this person was respectful to you, and I know the person you're speaking of, and they're a respectful person. But when, there was, and I'm not likening this person to this at all. I'm just saying that, like, whenever there is bad ideas or any time in history when bad things have happened, there has always been people that have said, well, don't talk about that. It's just, let it go. Or, you're just, stirring the pot or everything. I imagine there was people in Germany back in the 30s that, told everybody to be quiet too, so, and again, I'm not likening what happened to Doc earlier today to that, but that's
like what has being quiet about the far right gotten us, but a far right president and more people accepting those ideals. Being quiet doesn't work. It's cowardly. Speaking opposition, it works. Guess what? I started talking about Matt Powell at a very slow subscription rise. But as I've talked about Matt Powell, as I've talked about Steven Anderson, as I'm now talking about Kent Hovind, guess what? The Raging Atheist is gaining ground. So while you sit here and tell me that I shouldn't feed into what they want, when they're using my name repeatedly over and over again. Kent Hovind is now using my name in one out of every 3 live streams, right? Like,
he told you to bring it the other.
Yeah, he literally told me to bring it. Like,
bring it
if
on.
I don't, I'm the coward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and there is a payoff too, because here's the thing: most of the people that follow Kent, they're sycophants. They're not going to listen to the outside, but there's people that are on the fence. There's people that are, logical thinkers that are willing to listen to the other side and might have their minds change. As an example, we were talking about Steve McRae earlier. He has turned 2 different people, I believe it was, over the last few years, off of young Earth creationism through his argumentation and his discussions with these people. I thought I lost you there, Nock.
I'm clicking wrong buttons all night.
Yeah, but so it does pay to talk about issues, because there are people that are willing to listen, despite what the majority of the group might have to say about opposing views.
Yeah, so there's a $10 super chat from Maynard Saves. Our boy, I stand with Nock. Fuck him. Exactly. But then here's the argument. This is the argument. Or no, sorry, wrong argument. Sorry, this one guy. Here it is. Hovind is low-hanging fruit. Address serious arguments. Low-hanging fruit at 146,000 subscribers. Yeah. Seriously. Who's going around to churches preaching his bullshit. Low-hanging fruit, my ass. I'm sorry, but I have to disagree. I have to.
Well, and not only that, but, if you don't take his arguments seriously, that's well and good. And I would agree with that characterization of his arguments. They're not very serious, but unfortunately there are people that are susceptible to those arguments because they look at Kent as an authority figure.
I literally covered in my last Kent Hovind video how he seems to be constructing a cult compound, how he has people coming there and not wanting to leave, right? Like low-hanging fruit, my ass. This is the struggle. He has legitimacy. He is the Christian debater to debate on evolution. So it's not low-hanging fruit. It's a person that needs to be destroyed.
Yeah, period. And his arguments may not be that serious if you're, a person of reason, a critical thinker, but we can talk seriously about how wrong he is, and that's one of the reasons why we're here tonight. Like I said, Nock did a really great video on this, but as people may know, Kent Hovind, not his last video. I think he's put one out since then, but
he's put a few out since now.
Yeah, but he just did a video not too long ago, and like I said, we'll put the link in the description after we get done here. He made a video responding to Rachel Oates, and now here's the thing about that. The first 8.5 minutes of his video is him sitting there and telling his audience all the money he needs for all the different things at his compound. Please send money. So essentially, he was using the situation with Rachel Oates and her episode of self-harm over the bullying from Essence of Thought. He is using that situation as a marketing tool.
Yeah,
and that's fucking repugnant.
So he invokes Rachel Oates' name in the title of that video, and then proceeds to spend the first 8.5 minutes asking for thousands upon thousands of dollars to build his cult compound.
And I think, Nock did a stream not too long ago. I've seen a lot of activity on Twitter about this from different YouTubers. Steve McRae actually has changed his Twitter name to say something about cyberbullying.
Yeah, which I like it, but at the same time, I really love Pope
of agnosticism.
Yeah, I like that shit.
But I bring that up to say this: Kent Hovind is a cyberbully.
And cyberbullying is a thing, and we should call it out, not just with Essence of Thought, because that's the vogue thing to do right now, but we should call it out as a whole, right? We should look for it, and when we see it, lend our collective voices against it. And I'm with Steve McCrae on this 100%.
So let's get into, and again, my apologies that, we're not going to be playing the video here, but I'm going to refer to some different time steps and some things that he said and give my response, and Noka will give his response. One thing that struck me right off the bat after he did his, begging for money on the back of Rachel's name for the first 8.5 minutes at the 9:22 mark. And I also will put a comment in the comment section and leave all these timestamps too. So if people want to go check it out, he said, "I'm not your enemy, Rachel, and I'm not your enemy, Rachel. I really want to help." Well, I'm sorry, Kent. You really want to help yourself, okay? You used the situation with Rachel to help yourself. You have no sincere desire to help Rachel. I'm sorry. And then at 9:40, he gets into he's using the situation with Rachel and Essence of Thought to make points about his belief that evolution is nonsense. And that, to me, that's also more repugnancy right there. I mean, it's just repugnant. And
he goes from Rachel Oates to clips of lions killing zebras.
Well, right, and I have that a little bit, but just to go right here chronologically, he says at the 9:40 mark, "I completely understand it, and it's dumb in regards to evolution." Because Rachel had done a video going point by point, on some things Kent had said.
Yeah, and then he equates the story of Humpty Dumpty to evolution, and
right,
I don't think you can, because like the story of Humpty Dumpty is a fiction. Yeah. Evolution has real fact behind it. I think you can only equate the story of Humpty Dumpty to the Bible.
You're getting ahead of me, Nock. That was
sorry.
That was my very next timestamp.
Sorry, dude. No, I know this video.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because you already ripped it apart to do your video, but you're absolutely right. Now, because he says I completely understand it and it's dumb. Well, my question to Kent is, then why do you continually say false things about evolution? And there'd be more comments, on this later as we get to these different timestamps. But he says he understands it, but every time he talks about it, he says things that would indicate that he doesn't understand it. And Aaron Ra has corrected him ad nauseum on a lot of these points he's always making. And as Nakasuchi just alluded to, at the 9:55 mark, he brings up about the Humpty Dumpty. He says, "I understand Humpty Dumpty, and it's a fairy tale." And the only comment I had about this, and then Nock, get in here, is the note I wrote when I heard him say that was, well, speaking of fairy tales, like he's going to invoke Humpty Dumpty, but a lot of his beliefs are fairy tales.
It was so like displacing for me to hear that. Like, I'm like, right analogy but wrong equation. Right? Like,
yeah,
like you got the right analogy here. Like, yeah, Humpty Dumpty's a fairy tale, Harry Potter's a fiction, the Bible is a fiction. Evolution has reliable data. Now, I'm not the type to say, hey, evolution is 100% true, because guess what, I wasn't there back then. But looking at the evidence, I have to go with evolution, period.
Right, and please, any of our theistic or Christian viewers, don't take my commentary wrong. I'm not saying that God belief in and of itself is fanciful or fantasy, but there are things that specifically that Kent Hovind believes and other Christians and other theists believe that do come off as like fantasy. I mean, and I'm just being honest here, especially Kent, who wants to go after evolution, be a young Earth creationist, and the things he says, are just sheer. They're sheer fantasy. I mean, it's just, there's just no more to say about it on that.
Yeah, like it's not even remotely true. And as I pointed out earlier with the stream of Maddie, it's like he has been told the right arguments and sometimes has even acknowledged that he was wrong, but he doesn't take those slides out. He continues with that narrative, even though he's acknowledged that he was wrong with that narrative. So like Kent Hovind, he's deceptional. He is probably like Matt Powell times 100 because he actually has legitimacy. Like Matt Powell lost legitimacy, let's be honest, with the video, right? Like anybody that's going to go on a rant about video games and atheists, well, they're fucking stupid. Kent Hovind is not stupid. And I'm not saying Matt Powell is stupid either, because I think Matt Powell is actually very smart. But when it comes to his rhetoric, Matt Powell has 20 years to get to Kent Hovind's space at least, right? Like Kent Hovind's been doing this for a long time. And when Kent Hovind is invoking my name, calling me out personally, telling me to bring it, me, a raging atheist, to bring it, I fucking bring it. And I'm not going to do it like anybody else did before. I'm going to attack you on a personal level because that's what I do.
Hey, did you already put on the screen Ashley's super chat?
Yeah, I did. I did read it. Though. I would like to read it. Glad to see you're feeling better, John, because I did tell her that you were sick last weekend. I have your guys back in this particular fight. Fuck the NIFB and fuck Hovind too for backing them.
Yeah, thank you. For that, Ashley. I just wanted to acknowledge that I'd seen that. Thank you so much, Allie. Lost my place. Okay, here we go. So just so you know, Knock, we're 45 minutes in. I'm still on my first page of notes, and I got like 4 pages left. So
yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
We're trying to end so we can watch Ken and Q on Modern Day Debate. Right. Ken and Q.
And so I'm just going to try and get through them, a few points at a time.
I'll stop interjecting. I'm like
you interject, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a few points at a time. This is a pretty big thing. This next thing. Okay, at the 10:16 mark, Ken Hovind says, "Internet bullying. I'm curious how you guys who believe in evolution can think this is wrong." Now, here is Kent exploiting the situation with Rachel and Essence of Thought to make a dumbass point about his views on morality. And again, Kent, you are a bully. Okay, you are with everything, most everything you said in this video, you are bullying Rachel over this. Okay, Now here's how we know it's wrong. Okay, we know it's wrong that bullying, and we know other things are right or wrong precisely because of evolution. Okay, not because of your dumb book and not because of the God you believe in. Okay, we know that it's wrong precisely because of evolution. Morality comes from a sense of well-being. Nock alluded to this. I can't remember when, if it was earlier in the stream today or the video he did on this particular Hovind video, but it's a sense of well-being. It's the fact that we can empathize, and it's the fact that we live in social groups. Okay, yeah. I want to preserve my well-being, and because I can think in the abstract and empathize for my fellow man, I can think about things that I don't want to have done to me, and figure out that they probably don't want to have it done to them. And then you add to that we work in groups, we live in societies. That is where morality comes from. It's not this objective force of the universe. It is something that was formulated by human minds, okay? And it's over, millions and millions of years of evolution that we developed these traits to where, we could come up with a moral framework for our societies. Okay. It's because we evolved the ability to empathize. We evolved the ability to think in the abstract. We evolved to realize that living in societies and groups is beneficial to us as individuals. So, Kent asked that question. It's, quite frankly, a very simple answer, even simpler than his answer, okay? Because here we have, as Knox said a little bit ago, all this information, all of this scientific, whatever word I'm trying to think of, scientific information about evolution that's been compiled over the years. But instead of believing the work that scientists have done, Kent's answer is magic. I mean, I apologize to any, but that's basically what it is. God gave it to us.
And his answer is literally like Brontosaurus was on the ark. Like, seriously, like fucking seriously, like that big ass dinosaur fit on that fucking ark.
Well, and he even said when he was talking about asking for money and painting the van they have, that somebody's going to paint a mural on it with the dinosaurs walking to the ark.
Yeah, like fucking seriously, they think this shit. Like maybe not Matt. I think Matt Powell's smarter than he lets off, and he doesn't really believe it. And maybe even Kent Hovind doesn't, but like they think that these big ass dinosaurs got on that boat.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I was distracted. I was reading in the chat that Callan said she blocked Hovind a while back. I guess Hovind was being transphobic.
Surprise!
Somewhere in a chat, or I don't know if she's talking about Twitter or where she's talking about. But,
maybe somebody in the chat, maybe you've seen John. Like has Kent Hovind ever officially come out on his stance when it comes to LGBTQ, or does he just behind the scenes support genocidal maniacs?
Well, he had Matt Powell on his stream just end of last week, so I would say he supports genocidal maniacs because Matt Powell is a genocidal maniac. He thinks that laws should be passed to kill the LGBTQ community. So yeah, he supports genocidal maniacs. I mean, the argument could be made.
Worse than Matt, he's on again, off again with Steven Anderson, and Steven Anderson goes, I think, a level beyond Matt.
Well, and not only that, but the argument could be made that the God he worships is a genocidal maniac.
I think that's true. I mean, I don't think that it's like even arguable to say that Yahweh, if it exists, is a war god, right?
Oh yeah, I mean a war god and definitely a genocidal god. I mean he
killed the entire fucking world because of Nephilim, right?
Well, and he drowned a lot of babies too at one point. So I just
And he sent the Holy Ghost to kill all the firstborn children of Egypt because Moses was or because the Pharaoh of Egypt was pissing him off.
Yeah, so again, at 11:33, he brings it up again. How do you, before he asked how do evolutionists, and then 11:33 says, how do you atheists decide something is good or bad? And well, here's how I do it, Ken. The way I decide something is good or bad is I read the Bible and I look at your actions and do the opposite. So that's how I know I'm doing good. I follow your example, Kent. I do the opposite. That's how I do that.
I think that's like a good general rule. So like from now on, if Kent Hovind goes live or if Kent Hovind does a video and he says a thing, do the opposite. And if there's a heaven, you'll probably get there.
And then the next thing, and Noka already alluded to this.
My God, I got sock accounts directly against me now. Raging is a liar. So let's throw this shit up on the screen. Raging is a liar. I'm fucking sock accounts dedicated to me now. I've made it, right? I've made it.
And Raging's a liar, and his avatar is Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah. So if that's you, Jesse Lee Peterson, come on my show. Or Raging is a liar. Come on my show.
You know who that is? That's Matt Powell, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's probably Matt Powell.
He's been blocked.
Or Kent Hovind. That's Kent Hovind right now watching because he'd be fantasizing about me now.
Oh yeah. Him and Matt both. The twink and the dink. All right. So and Nakasuchi already alluded to this. at the 1142 mark, while he's making his argument that evolutionists and atheists cannot be moral, he brings up the lion and the zebra. Well, is this wrong? Is the lion killing the zebra wrong? Well, that's a straw man. No one argues that human morals are the same as lesser species, okay, or lesser animals, because we are animals too. We are in the kingdom Animalia. And it's also a red herring because he's not addressing human morality when he brings up the zebra and the lion.
Yeah, like totally, so are you admitting, Hovind, that we came from apes and that we should still act like wild animals do? I mean, are you admitting that that's how God created us? And maybe we're just smarter than God now. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe God created us as these mindless apes in his image because he's a mindless fucking ape, but we've evolved, and I don't think Hovind can accept it. I think that he wants to be a mindless ape because that justifies him fingering his butthole.
So, and then he goes on to talk about Darwin. He mentions survival of the fittest, and then he goes on to strawman the title of Darwin's book, because Origin of Species has a longer title that's on the inside page, and he takes one phrase out of that, preservation of favored races. And he puts up another straw man and an equivocation because he is conflating that phrase, preservation of favored races, with racism. Okay, and two completely different things. Darwin, he did in his work, he did examine the idea that some humans may be subspecies, but he concluded emphatically that based on the evidence that all human beings belong to one race. That was what Darwin believed. He was not a racist, and that phrase in the title is not alluding to racism at all.
And in that book, he barely refers to human beings at all.
In the Origin of Species, yep.
Barely at all. And Charles Darwin is notoriously not a racist in an era of when racism was okay. So I mean, it's like the biggest straw man that you could put out on. Like imagine like me, as adamant as I've been for LGBTQ rights, as adamant as I've been anti-racist, for somebody to come along and say, well, Nakasuchi's a racist because he titled his short story this. That's not a reason. My actions define my character. And Charles Darwin, we know, wasn't a racist.
Right. He was not. And Darwin hated slavery. He
hated it.
He was an abolitionist. Okay. So when in that title, Origin of Species, preservation of favored races, okay, he's not speaking of humanity. He's speaking of different races of animals and he
is speaking to that evolutionary thing that the strongest survive. So through evolution, that has been the process. We live in a different world now, right? Like we live in a world where the strongest doesn't necessarily always survive. We live in a world now to where we protect our weakest because we have evolved as a society. Evolution is everywhere. It's not just in how we became how we are, what made us human. It's also, since we've become human, how we've become what we are. And they fail to realize this. Like evolution is everywhere. It's apparent. It's really, at this point, undeniable.
Yeah, and so he goes on to say, I don't know whether he doesn't know that Darwin's been dead for like a century, but over a century, but he says, okay, now Charlie, if on a first name basis with him, I guess, this dead guy. Okay, now Charlie, he says at the 1306 mark, if you think there are favored races, does that mean those that are not favored should die? Again, playing up the idea that Charles Darwin was talking about racism and trying to say that that there was lesser human beings, which as we've already covered, he that's not what Darwin was saying. And then at the 1322 mark, Kent says the strongest are really the only ones that have a right to survive. It's really best if the weakest die off. Now, there he is again, the man who says he understands evolution, completely, straw manning survival of the fittest, which does not mean anything about the strongest survive and the weakest die off. That's not what survival of the fittest means, okay? It means those that are fit to reproduce and thrive in their environment, okay? Which doesn't necessarily allude to being the strongest.
Yeah. And like I literally think that we gave up on this whole only the strongest survive mentality hundreds of years ago, if not thousands, right? Like ever since we stopped like killing, handicapped children, like we're better people now. And it's because we're not so animalistic anymore. We have grown these sentient minds. We have had thousands upon thousands of years of evolution to teach us what's right and what is wrong. Like every generation, we learn something from the generation before. Our tools get better every generation. Now our tools aren't, hand-carved stone arrowheads or spearheads. They're computers. In every generation, those tools advance. And as those tools advance, we advance. It's quite simple.
Real quick, dude, I want you to put up Raging's a Liar's last comment. All right, so let me tell you, dude or dudette with the dumbest fucking screen name ever, Darwin was not a racist, okay? That is a fucking lie. You're calling Raging a liar? You're a fucking liar, okay? Go read a book, motherfucker. And I'm sorry I'm being so fucking profane here, but you are a blithering fucking idiot, okay? The people that after the fact took, Darwin's work and tried to turn it into racism, into, eugenics and all this other crazy shit.
It's Jill, dude. It's fucking Jill.
Is it Jill?
And I unblocked Jill. Like, you could totally be here on your regular account.
So, I mean, he is
at the very end, it says -Jill.
Oh, shit. Hang on a second. Let me fix this.
Raging is a liar is Jesus is Lord.
Oh, somebody already did it, but hold on a second. We got to do something else.
I wasn't sure. Like, this dude commented on my shit.
He gone.
This dude right here, DJ Joker 12, commented on my one of my videos recently, and spoken in language that I couldn't understand. I'm like, dude, I don't fucking understand you. But so I think he's understandable now. So yeah, DJ Joker, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and let's not get bogged down in the troll fucks here.
Yeah, I know. I saw that and I'm like, oh, now I understand where he's coming with this. Like, he's too scared to talk to me in English and talk shit.
Right, and we still want to get Maynard on for a little bit here before.
And we do got to talk a little bit of Trump. So yeah, let's get.
Yeah, maybe. So all right, here's where Kent really goes low again, and really.
I'll be right back, John.
All right, really being repugnant again and exploiting the situation with Rachel Oates and Essence of Thought. At the 1344 mark, he says, so if Essence of Thought is bullying Rachel and Rachel commits suicide over it, well, then Essence of Thought must be the strongest, and I guess he's right. So he's using this situation to make a stupid point about his understanding of evolution and survival of the fittest, which is totally and completely wrong, and exploiting that situation and saying, I mean, he doesn't really believe what he's saying here. I will admit that. He does say later that it was wrong of Essence of Thought to bully her. But the fact that he would utter these words to make a point about his incorrect beliefs about evolution and morality, it's one of the most repugnant things I've ever witnessed in my life. Okay. So if Essence of Thought is bullying Rachel and Rachel commits suicide over it, well, then Essence of Thought must be the strongest. And I guess he's right. And, that's him trying to say that people who believe in evolution, atheists who don't believe morality comes from God, he is saying that must be the way that we think.
Yeah, and I don't get this whole argument like morality comes from God, because God is a douche. Like your God, like Yahweh's a douche. Like he doesn't do much that's good. Nothing. Nothing. We have a world full of babies dying of cancer. Fuck Yahweh. Like seriously, like if morality comes from Yahweh, shoot me in the fucking head already, because I don't want to be a part of that.
Yep, absolutely. And the other thing that's wrong about, is about, the survival of fittest is strongest versus weakest, which that's not what it is. And, he's trying to say that, well, if Essence of Thought bullied Rachel, then he must be and she killed herself over it. Well, then he must be the strongest. The other thing that's wrong with that is bullying is not a show of strength. People who bully are showing their weakness. They're not showing their strength. They're showing their weakness. And Kent Hovind is just one of the weakest individuals I've ever encountered in my life. And he is a bully too. Now at the 1419 mark, he continues to misunderstand what survival of the fittest means. He says survival of the fittest, and he goes on to say the strongest survive, the weakest die off. Now, Kent, I thought you understood evolution. That's not what natural selection is. It's not the strongest survive, the weakest die off. That's not what it is. But you always say you understand evolution.
Well, yeah, he says he understands it because it's so dumb and stupid. Because like seriously, a second grader could understand evolution. And as a person that has researched evolution, I fully contend that I don't know shit about evolution. I understand that there's a lot of evidence. I've studied that evidence, but I'm not an evolution. I'm not Jackson Wheat, right? But Kent Hovind thinks he is, and Kent Hovind, literally thinks dinosaurs lived with man. Yeah, so he's like an idiot.
Yeah,
like stupid.
Jesus wrote a dinosaur, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. Scholar fiction got Raptor Jesus because Jesus was riding a raptor when he went into Jerusalem that day.
Yeah, I think Kent watched a lot of the Flintstones when he was a kid, I think. And just to go through a few of these real quick, because it's all about the same thing. At 1434, he says, how do you measure right from wrong? You can just go back to our earlier discussion about morality. And according to Kent, it seems that if God was disproven, he wouldn't have morality anymore. I mean, well, he doesn't really have any now. But
and my response to that is Kent, seriously, how do you have morality, or how do you know what's right from wrong when you're sitting here bullying a person who has recently self-harmed herself? And not only that, but like misrepresented her self-harm, right? Like literally said that she tried to commit suicide, literally said that she slashed her wrist when she did not do that. She opened a gash in her upper arm. She wasn't trying to commit suicide. She was trying to release the pressure that she was feeling from the bullying. Rachel Oates wasn't trying to kill herself. She was trying to make herself feel better. And he's literally going to go live to 146,000 subscribers and tell them that Rachel Oates is such a fragile atheist that she had to try to kill herself.
Hey,
that is not the reality of what happened.
Not at all. And there's other YouTubers who got that wrong, because you saw the videos that Kent put up.
Yeah, plenty of people got that wrong because they didn't actually see the video; they just heard about it.
Right, and there was other people that referred to it as a suicide attempt as well, and they were wrong. Hey, so Joker 12, which I love. It's very convenient how you put your age right in your screen.
Yeah, well, and it's convenient how in his comments or their comments, male or female, they spoke in another language. And now they're perfectly able to speak English here. Like, bitch, if you're going to comment to me, comment so I can understand and combat you. Don't be a bitch-made little Jill.
Yeah, and of course, that could be Jill for all I know. Now, he says that he, hey, I'll get you a ticket to, and I don't know who he's talking to, whether it's us or people in the chat. I'll pay for you to fly down here to Texas if you want to say that to my face. And then he says, y'all are cowards talking about others behind their backs. Hey, Joker. Do you know how a live stream works? Do you know how it works when a video goes up on YouTube?
Like,
how are
literally
we talking behind people's back? Well, if we're talking behind people's backs, well, then when Kent made that video the other day about Rachel Oates, he was talking behind her back then too.
Yeah, like literally, people that have been in this chat for a while knows that Matt Powell comes here frequently, right? So like Matt Powell is watching right now, even if he's not commenting. And guess what? Kent Hovind is talking about me frequently now too. So guess what? Kent Hovind is watching. Now, if not now, then later, he's gonna watch.
Or if he's not watching, he's got like little minions.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 1,000 people that's gonna run and tell him about how Nakasuchi and John Peterson went into his ass. And so you guys can expect another Kent Hovind video about me fairly soon, I'm sure.
Well, and then here I jump on Joker and then look down a couple comments, and Ashley had already trashed him on the very same points that I did.
She's so good. She's so fucking good.
She hit that. She hit him right when it happened. And then now at the 1748 mark, and then a knock. It'll probably only take a few more minutes to get through what I have here. But go ahead and send Maynard that link, and Maynard, come on in, and just before you say anything when you come in, just wait till we give you the heads up. But why don't you start?
And apologies to the congresswoman I work for, who might still be watching, might not, but she was watching, expecting to see Donald Trump talk. We might not get there because we're trying to end by 9:30. I'm going to send the link to Maynard though.
And definitely we will be talking about Trump. I usually only do Wednesday nights, but I might have to do another stream on a night when Noka is off, so we can go this in depth on Trump. But suffice it to say, the impeachment saga is going to be going on for a while for sure.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think it's legitimate. I think that we have them. I think we have them by the balls. I think we have all of them by the balls right now. I really wish that they wouldn't limit the scope of the impeachment to just the Ukraine call. I think we should be tracking Trump's money. I think you track Trump's money, you get Trump. But I think we got him with the Ukraine call. Like, he broke the law. But yeah, we can get back to Kent Hovind. Maynard, I'm gonna send you it on Gmail as soon as I find you in all of my mess of Gmail. I have hundreds of emails. So.
Now, continuing on with his rant about morality and how can we not have morality? He at 1748 he holds up his Bible and he says, I've got a gauge right here that tells me how to behave, tells me right from wrong. Thou shalt not kill. And then somebody in the crowd says murder. And I felt like I was on, I don't know if everybody remembers when, the guy who does the late night on NBC after Jimmy Fallon, Seth something, used to be on SNL.
Seth Rogen?
No, it's not Seth Rogen.
No.
Seth Meyer. Yeah. They used to do really, like they would say stupid shit that people said, and then they would be like, really? They would just say really after everything. And that's the first thing I thought of is really? I mean, what about all the killing in the Bible? God is a prolific murderer, but you're saying the Bible tells you how to be moral? I mean, sorry, dude. No way.
I finally found Maynard, so I am sending the link right now, Maynard.
Yeah. I mean, for him to claim, talking about thou shalt not kill. I mean, to try and argue that God is not a prolific murderer would be special pleading, and I don't know how any Christian that takes the Bible literally can get around the fact that their God is a murderer. I mean, it just now. Real quick, I need to bring this up on my phone because it was too long for me to take notes on. But at one point, at the 1920 mark, Kent, he talks about how he went over to Rachel's video and he left a comment in her video. And he said, I'd love to talk with you and answer any questions and help you prepare for that day we all eventually face. Who knows? Maybe I can help you give up your professed atheism and get you to become one of God's children. So he's going over there. He's going over there and proselytizing to her as if he thinks that's, what an atheist who has just gone through a rough emotional time period, so taxing on her mentality that she did self-harm. I mean, and so he's going to go over there and proselytize to her, as if that's what he, thinks she needs. Very, very, very wrong. Very, certainly not the right thing to do. He says, converted atheists make the best Christians. Saul became Paul. Also, whether you continue rejecting Christ or not, if you ever need a roof over your head and food to eat, you are welcome to come to Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. So right there, another example of him marketing his place, exploiting this situation to market his place. He couldn't simply say, if you ever need a roof over your head and food to eat, I would put you up, or you're welcome.
Which would be the Christian thing to do.
Right. He has to mention the dino part. Now he goes on in this comment to say, he talks about the cabins that they have here and what a beautiful camp it is. And then he goes on to say, all we would require, talking about if she decides to take him up on his offer of a place to live, all we would require is that you attend our short Bible study every weeknight. Now here's the thing. If you are going to be charitable to your fellow man, you don't put requirements on it. Okay, you don't say, sure, I'll lend you a helping hand, but you need to listen to my nonsense for half hour. That's not the way charity works. Okay.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't have any concept of how charity works. And he obviously doesn't have any concept of, like, Rachel Oates is a successful person that will be okay. Like she didn't probably take too much of a monetary hit. And great people like Ex-Cult Baby and others did fundraisers to help her while she was off and dealing with this situation. But Kent Hovind doesn't understand that because Kent Hovind doesn't do his research because Kent Hovind's a fucking idiot.
Right. And the thing of it is that was not a sincere offer of charity. That was
not
Kent,
at all.
That was Kent making that offer to grandstand and to try and shine a light on himself. Look what a good person I am. That was not a sincere offer of charity by any stretch of the imagination.
And yet, like, why would she take that after he had spent the entire stream insulting her moment where Essence of Thought had gotten to her to the point to where she opened herself up. And Rachel Oates had been positive about, or had been honest about this kind of thing before. It shouldn't have come as any surprise that under great pressure, Rachel, who was a former self-harmer, would self-harm herself again. That's how these things happen. And for Kent Hovind, who's supposed to be this great man of God, as so many people describe him to be, to come in after the fact, after Rachel had done that, and then pretty much smear what happened, accuse her of trying to kill herself when she didn't. I mean, like, Kent Hovind, I'm talking to you now because I know you're watching. I know you're watching this. You are cunt, Hovind. You're a cunt in every sense of the word. A cunt.
Yeah, well, I have to give you some blowback on that, Knock, because actually cunts have both warmth and depth, neither of which can.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not sexually, no sexual connotations in my usage of the word. I use it like the Brits use it. It's definitely like, yeah, I don't even think that it's insult enough for Colt Haven. We'll call him Colt Haven because he's trying to build that Colt compound. So for Colt Hovind, it's not even a big enough insult to call him a cunt. I'll call him Matt from now on.
Oh, that's below the belt.
Yeah, I'll call him Matt.
So I just posted in the live chat again the GoFundMe for Puffalupagus.
And I posted it a couple times myself.
Yeah, and so just please, if you're watching this now or you're watching it in the future after it posts a video, please get over there and help Puff out.
And that is one good thing about our community, John, is we do help. So hopefully you got a little bit of help from this, but also, Puff, I'll reach out to some of my friends and hopefully that they'll take up this cause for you and help you out here, because it is. I mean, I buried my mother, and it is a big cost, and it. Not only in a time where you're feeling just the most grief that you're going to feel losing a parent, but then you have to worry about the financials, and it is hard.
Yeah, I'm in my mid 50s, and of course, so you know what that means as far as the age of my.
You've had a wrench for a while, dude.
I think with me being in my mid 50s, you can extrapolate how old my parents are, my mother and my stepfather, and that's always on my mind is when am I going to get that call? When is one of them going to pass away? And I lost my father at 18, so I definitely can empathize with what you're going through, Puff, and please, everybody, go check that GoFundMe out and give what you can, help him out.
We're not going to get to Donald Trump, but let's let Maynard come in. If
real
Maynard,
quick,
are you there?
Yeah, let him in. As a matter of fact, I've only got just a few other quick things to say here, and then we can let Maynard have the floor. But
go ahead, John. Sorry.
Yeah. So at the 23:15 mark, Kent shows a thumbnail for one of Rachel's videos where she had gone after Kent's nonsense, and she had put a cartoon bubble coming out of his mouth, and he was saying, it would be better for the world if you died, as if he was speaking to Rachel. And Kent says, I never said that. And it's like, what the fuck? You said it in the very video where we're critiquing right now. Okay, yes, you said it. Maybe you didn't say it and believed it, but you alluded to it. You said those words to make some dumbass point about, your idea of morality and the fact that we don't have morality. So you absolutely did say it. And then he goes on to talk about a fruit fly experiment that never produced anything but fruit flies. Once again, showing that he does not understand evolution, though he claims he did. And then from there, most of the rest of the video is just more nonsense on evolution until the last 4 minutes, when he for a couple minutes he does some more begging for getting the car transmission fixed and fixing things at Dino Land. Now I'm just about done here. At the 38-minute mark, and this is just so laughable, he talks about going to a college, and he had a booth set up, and I think he spoke to some people. And he said that he was confronted by a student who said to him that he believed that evolution was true. Now, Kent said, now, do you have evidence, or do you just believe in evolution because of the freedom it gives you from God's rules? Now, this really struck me because most Christians accept evolution. Okay, most Christians are not young earth creationists. They believe, and rightly so, that if their God's all powerful, then God could have utilized evolution to create, everything.
Yeah,
that,
common fucking sense.
Right. And when Kent says that, so what he is doing is he is insulting people like Cy Gart. I'm sure people who know who he is see him around the community. He's a Christian, and he is a biologist, I believe. I believe that's the science he's in. And he wholeheartedly accepts evolution. But according to Kent, Cy Gart must be an idiot. Now, here's the thing, and other Christians who accept evolution as well. Now, this kid, he said, like I said, he says, do you have evidence about evolution, or do you just want to gives you freedom from God's rules? And then Kent goes on to say, I believe in that the kid responded to him, I believe in evolution because I'm horny. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I wasn't there. I can't know this for sure, but I am going to say that I am as certain as I can be that is a lie. That is a lie. No, that college student did not say to Kent Hovind, I believe in evolution because I'm horny.
Yeah, like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just he totally made that up. That was a lie. That was him trying to make one of his dumbass jokes. And then the last thing I got to say is he uses the last minute and 40 to go after Rachel again and proselytize to her. But sorry I had so much, but Ken is just such a prolific asshole.
No, it's good, dude. Like, we can talk about Trump anytime. And honestly, like the Trump streams, if you haven't noticed, don't get watched like other streams do, because this primarily isn't a political channel. I'm changing it because I change shit. It's what I do. Right. But yeah, like up until now, like politics is new to the channel. So more and more right-wing fuckers will be leaving as we go along. And good riddance to you bitches, because you're idiots. Straight up. I mean that with love. Seriously, I do. I mean that with all the love for idiots that I have. But outside of that,
hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm just saying, like, Kent is. They're all so disingenuous. Like, Matt Powell literally told me to my face, I don't support Trump. All right, but if it comes down to Trump versus any Democrat, who do you think Matt Powell votes for? Trump, right? I mean, without a doubt, because of abortion and because of Supreme Court judges. So like Matt, like, while you don't support Trump, in quotations, and I don't got my camera on right now, so you can't see me making my quotation marks.
Air quotes.
but like, you vote for him, because I know you didn't vote for Hillary, and I know you're not going to vote for Bernie or Elizabeth Warren or Joe Biden, whoever the fuck it is. So stop lying, dog.
Hey, we can go a little bit long, because as you and I agreed earlier, James
never starts on time.
James never starts on time anyway.
And I want to get Maynard some time too.
Well, right, and that's what I want to go to next. But I want to ask Ashley in the live chat, could you elaborate on that? What was the topic that you want to start on?
It was that 4-way stream when you had that stream before. Okay. Oh, she fucked Cy Gart. Oh,
not on evolution, but they were talking different.
Yeah, no, yeah, just everything in general.
Okay. Yeah. I would agree with that. I saw part of that.
No, they actually agree on evolution.
Yeah, she did well on that. So Maynard, So what do you got to say about what me and Nock have been talking about? And you told me earlier you've got a few points of your own you'd like to make about Mr. Hovind. I use the word Mr. loosely.
Yeah, I don't, because I won't call him anything else. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's up, Maynard? It's been too long, dog.
Hey, Knock, if you've got someone in the Detroit area or Michigan, man, that I can vote for, I'm down, bro.
So I'm working for a congresswoman or a woman running for Congress. So yeah, I'll let you know in the future, dog.
Thank you. I'm interested. John Peterson, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, sorry we went on so long and didn't get you on earlier, but the floor is yours, buddy.
Okay. Thank you, guys, man. If I can have just a few minutes, man, I have a few things I want to say to everybody out there. If you can, man, help Puff out. Help somebody out, man. That's what atheists should be doing. If you can do that, do that. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
After that, I would like to say to Rachel, I know what she's going through, man. I've been sober for the last couple years, built my life back up, and I'm dealing with it again. So we'll get through that. And that's just how shit goes, man. Deal with it. We'll get by it. We'll get through it.
Yeah, life sucks.
Yep. You just build yourself up, man. Pick yourself up. That's what you got to do, Rachel. That's it.
Yeah, and she'll be good. I honestly believe out of all of this, Rachel Oates is going to come out the strongest of anybody. You know, our art's been damaged and not damaged enough to where I don't think he has a future, because he does and he should. You know, but Essence of Thought has been damaged beyond repair at this point, in my opinion. Rachel hasn't been. I mean, Rachel showed a part of what we go through in this society, in this modern society. She showed a plague that is really affecting people of her age and younger. You know, there is a demographic that is doing this, and she exposed that, and it's just another element of her.
Else, yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Maynard. I was just, you know, like I really think that what Rachel did was a positive, and it has sparked, like, you know, conversations about self-harm when we weren't talking about self-harm before. And it is also like the community really has galvanized behind her.
Absolutely.
And I think that she's got a brilliant future ahead of her.
I think she'll rise like a phoenix from the fires, personally.
Yeah, me too. Like, I saw a picture of her and her dog on Twitter today, and I'm just like, this is a beautiful picture right here. Like, this shows Rachel Oates is a fucking survivor.
Yep. Good for her. Bravo. So now can we get on to something?
Oh yeah, Maynard, bring it to us.
Fucking cunty.
Bring it to us. Let's hear the cunt.
All right. So as some of you may know, I tend to super chat a little bit once in a while.
Just a little bit. Smoke weed every day.
I do, and I am right now. The reason for that is because I am not on social media elsewhere. I do not engage in it. I don't think it's healthy, personally. I watch videos and then I comment on what I think is whatever, and that's about as far as I go into social media. That being, I enjoy fucking with creationists. I enjoy fucking with Christians and shit with the super chats. So one of my super chats to Kent Hovind on a modern day debate happened to be about the Nephilim. Kent Hovind's big anti-evolutionary thing is that kinds bring forth kinds. So when I bring up to Kent Hovind that the Nephilim came down and they fucked all the women on the earth and they brought forth another fucking kind, which was a hybrid, I asked him, are we the Nephilim kind, or are the Nephilim kind the human kind? Divergent, didn't answer, moved on. Just a quick, I don't know, didn't want to answer.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Here's a Bible literalist, fundamentalist, telling us he takes the Bible. How many times have you listened to a fucking video of his and how he takes the Bible literally? So I have a verse that I've always brought up, and Nephi just fucks around with it, and he's just a dope anyways. But they take it literally, right? Well, in Genesis 6:4, I believe it's in Genesis 6:4, when it says the giants were in the earth in those days. I tend to want to ask these fuckers, were giants living in the earth, underground? Are they in the ground? Because it says that that's when men began to multiply on the face of the earth. So there's a distinguishment between the two. One's in the earth and one's above. And the other one that they will never answer is that if God made the flood to destroy the Nephilim because they fucked up the genetics between man and whatever they want to call them, aliens or angels, whatever their shit is, it doesn't matter. It's all bogus. Why does it say that they were before and after? If the flood didn't work, what was the point of it? They don't like to answer things like this. Kant's a big fan of not answering things that he can't, but he sure does. He will revert everything back to evolution. And he knows how evolution works. He just refuses to acknowledge it. Because if he acknowledges it, he's going to lose money from his Patreons, from his patronage, from everybody who donates to him. That's his whole shtick. If you look at Dinosaur Adventureland, everything he has down there is given to him because he can't go out and make $1. He's putting together a dinosaur license plate dinosaur to talk about how dinosaurs existed. It's bogus. It's bullshit. And I thought I heard you talking, or one guy said earlier something about he's low-hanging fruit. Well, no, he's not low-hanging fruit. Someone with that type of subscription. And when you go and you see the comments and they're talking about great video, brother Hovind, and this and that, it fucking disgusts me. And I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but I get his fucking videos. And at the top, I put it, everyone, Matthew 7:15. Because it talks about how the wolf is in sheep's clothing and he is ravenous. And it says, do not, goddamn, I didn't bring it up. I didn't write it down either.
No, but that's perfect though. Like I know that
it talks about he's a wolf in a sheep's clothing and they are ravenous. Yeah. And that's exactly what fucking cunt is. And I had some other things written down, but I'm gonna let it go for right now.
No, I agree. Like he is a con man. He is the epitome of that snake oil salesman. And he's intentionally reaching out to low IQ people that will support him. And it's really sickening, honestly. Like, you know, I had this big struggle being on YouTube and like, you know, putting my PayPal in the link and doing all of that shit. Like I have an issue with that because, you know, I was actually raised in a very conservative Christian area, and we were taught like you work for what you get. And I've had people like coming at me like nah, you got to get over that. You got to get over that. This is YouTube, and I'm like, I know, but I just can't. And it's funny that these Christians can. Right? Like like this is me holding on to my old Christianity and my old, you know, like indoctrination that I had from all these Southern Baptists down in North Carolina, and I still have a hard time doing it. And yet these fucking Christians, Matt Powell and Kent Hovind especially, they will literally ask for thousands upon thousands of dollars. Like,
but that's the difference. That's the difference, Knock. You're looking for truth, and they're not. They're looking to push an ideology. They have a propaganda. Okay? You and I, John Peterson, we're looking for the truth. I can be wrong. I can fucking be wrong. Yes. Yeah.
Like I admit that too. Like I am open to being wrong. Like I was just talking to somebody earlier, and I'm like, dude, like, you know, like I'm totally open to having my mind changed about God. I just haven't had it happen yet.
Hey, I was just about to say, I don't know an atheist who wouldn't say, who hasn't said, if you show me evidence of a God, I won't be an atheist anymore. You know, I mean, atheists are open to be proven wrong. You know, I mean, it's as simple as that.
You're absolutely right, and I can show you many Christians that will tell me that they won't change their mind no matter what, and that's sad.
I almost jumped off my seat. I saw Kent Hovind CPA, and I'm like, "Holy shit, Kent Hovind's here!"
Well, I jumped out of my seat because I haven't seen him in a while. Kent Hovind CPA.
Welcome, Kent Hovind CPA. Welcome.
Hey, can I just say, I do love Kent Hovind CPA. That dude's funny.
Yeah.
Mad props.
Oh, he is.
Put his comment up, Doc.
Yeah, he is a huge supporter of this show. I just want to tell everybody, Kent Hovind CPA is a big supporter of the Raging Atheist, without a doubt. And I literally jumped off my seat because I didn't see the CPA part. I saw Kent Hovind. So I'm like, fuck, let's bring him in. And then it's my boy, Kent Hovind CPA.
And
hey, cool.
Something else about the chat that Ashley covered in the chat, but in case you didn't read Ashley's post, for all you folks that disagree with us, you're certainly welcome here, and you can come here and disagree with us. But if you get timed out by a mod, and then you come in here on a sock account to circumvent that timeout, you're gone. You are gone. You use a sock account to avoid a ban or avoid a timeout, immediate ban. You're gone. So
yeah, and honestly, I should have banned the raging whatever earlier when they admitted that.
I already did it. I hit him as soon as I.
All right, good. I forgot to do that.
I said he gone. So yeah, welcome, Kent Hovind CP. I hadn't seen you around in a while. Glad to see you, and everybody else. Hannibal of
Carthage. That is a reference to Hannibal of Carthage, and a very good play on words. I commend you.
And so, Sarah Peas herself is here. How's it going? That I like saying Sarah Peas herself much more than I'd like saying your former stream name. Something to do with what was it, stupid whore energy or something like that. I mean, I never liked saying that, and there I went and said it again.
Real quick, $2 from Kent Hovind CPA. Patrick Mahomes is God. This is a conversation we have in private. Or not even in private, but on Twitter and sometimes in private. And you're right. You know, Patrick Mahomes is God. But my Lions almost played God killer.
Yeah, they got it beat in the end, though, man. I was like all fired up for you.
Oh, dude, we gave Patrick Mahomes like 2 minutes. You can't give Patrick Mahomes 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, but if Patrick Mahomes is God, then what does that make Tom Brady, like super God?
Tom Brady's a bitch.
He's only the most prolific fucking quarterback in NFL history, but yeah, he's a bitch.
Yeah, he's a bitch. I mean, he didn't do it for Michigan, so he's a bitch. But I honestly believe, like, if Patrick Mahomes stays healthy, Tom Brady's not going to be the GOAT for very long. We'll see if he can stay healthy because he likes to run a bit too much. And let's let Maynard back in.
There he
I'm
is.
sorry, guys. I told you before, I'm a technical illiterate.
Well, and I'm glad you came back. We're gonna do final words now. I just got a notification that MDD is starting up over there.
And we do want to go support Shannon Q. Everybody, when you leave the screen, go support Shannon Q.
Yeah, go support Shannon Q, and then open up another window. And I guess the Great Debate Community is going live at the top of the hour to talk more about Steve's big win, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that shit tomorrow because I need to see that. Like, yeah, and congratulations, Steve McCrae. Honestly.
So, Maynard, any final words?
Yeah, I just like to say everybody needs to take Kent Hovind with a grain of salt. Everybody sees him for the snake oil salesman that he is, and you can tell by his subscribers to his views ratio it's all a bunch of bullshit, and he's a lot more hype than anything. And other than that, man, just support Nagasuchi. That's who I stand with. John Peterson, thank you. I'm probably going to be on with Richard Madsen within the next week. I'm going to get a hold of him, and we've talked already. So maybe check that out if you guys are interested.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to check that out.
Reasonable theist.
I do want to address this comment from DJ Joker 12 Nakasuchi, who can't seem to spell my name right because probably can't spell very well. Have you seen what Ken is doing in Alabama with the help of Christians? What are your friends doing for you? Well, honestly, my friends are kind of doing a lot. I mean, I don't know if you saw Cersei's video earlier, but my friends are coming out and several people tell me that they are a raging atheist. Seeing how Kent Hovind and Matt Powell put it out there, I was disowned by
left and gone back to prison, and how many are down there working for him right now?
Well, here's the other thing, though, and I gotta do a little blowback on that. That's not to say that people who are felons and paid their debt to society are inherently bad people. But,
no.
Some of the people he has down there. But
I'm sorry, that was not my intent.
No, I know. I just was clarifying in case other people, inferred that. But the thing is, if you look at the first 8 minutes of the video that we've been critiquing tonight, all I see down there in Alabama is a bunch of half-done shit. Okay, he keeps talking for a couple years.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. It's half done shit, and probably the reason it's half done shit is when the money comes in, he is like the things he talked about, like they needed a new transmission for this certain vehicle, and this other vehicle needed painted, and the drag line needed fixed, and all this stuff. Probably what has happened is he has probably received thousands and thousands of dollars in donations for those things over and over again, but he's spending the money on other shit. We already know that he is duplicitous when it comes to finances because he did 10 years in prison over it.
Yeah, in this video to where he's bashing on Rachel Owens, in that first 8.5 minutes, he admits to having a bamboo bridge that hasn't been completed in over a year, and he's asking somebody else, not him, not Kent Hovind, lazy piece of shit fucker that he is. He's asking somebody else to come and finish this bamboo bridge. Because
he's always asking somebody to do fucking something for him.
Hey, you got another chat sucker. Knock right above that Tony Design one. Rational Canadian Atheist.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now, right here. So yeah, the Joker, we do support him, douche. $10. Rational Canadian Atheist.
And Jared Whitaker says, "I am a raging African American atheist." So, all right, we're gonna close this out. There's stuff that we all want to go watch, and my apologies to anybody that was here to listen to us talk about Trump.
Yeah, we didn't quite get there, but there'll be other times.
Yeah, and just be looking this weekend. I've already gotten response from a couple different people. We're going to continue this. Promoting Puffalupagus's GoFundMe. Saturday, I'll be doing a stream on the Great Debate Community, and I've reached out to some other YouTubers.
I'm going to be reaching out to some other YouTubers as well, and hopefully we can really get Puff some help.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Good thing.
Knock. Before we get out of here, is there anything you have in the shoot that you need to promote?
Sunday, I am having Faye the Most Gracious on for a one-on-one. As always, both my moderators are invited for that. I can't remember the time we agreed on, but I do have a time we agreed on. So I will shoot you both, John and Ali.
Oh, definitely want to be there. Oh, and something else I forgot. Me and Faye had an interaction on Twitter. She wants to do a stream with you and me because she is a poet herself and she says she's getting back into it, writing poetry about being a former Muslim, poetry about atheism and different things. And I told her about your time as a slam poet, and I shared with her some of the poem that I wrote about atheism. And she wants to get together, the three of us, and have a stream just on like that type of poetry.
Oh, dude, I am so down for that shit.
Yeah. We definitely got to do that. All right. As I said, Saturday night on the GDC, and then either this Sunday or the following Sunday will be my next episode of the Amateur Conversationalist with Nick Suter. And there's a lot of other people on the list for in the future. Nock was nice enough to put the link to the Amateur Conversationalist in the description. And if you are so inclined, check me out and give me a sub. And we will put the GoFundMe link in the video description as well. I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how many of you folks came over and watched us with the big news over on Steve McRae's channel. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
I'm going to since Wednesdays are mine, I'm going to end the broadcast as I always do on Nakasuchi's channel by speaking Nakasuchi's words. Be the conversation.
you take